adolescents, sleep is critical to staying healthy, happy, and maintaining good grades. The National Sleep Foundation also recommends the amount of sleep for an adolescent being 8 to 10 hours an evening. Katie Duncan, a clinical psychologist, says, "I can tell you that I evaluate lots of kids for ADHD, attention deficit disorder, who really just need more sleep and less screen time. Sleep deprivation can look a lot like ADHD in terms of poor focus and incapability to sit still. Parents need to understand the amount of sleep kids are getting can hurt," she says. "When they're tired, they want to shut down, and when they do that, they put themselves in front of a device, and that furthers the addiction. Just as crucial as sleep is to adolescent development, so is physical activity." The Boys School of Denver has a mission statement. It is to empower young men through movement to exceed academically. This school zeroed in on the subject of physical movement and its importance as the foundation of overall well-being and balance for young men. The All-Girls School of Denver Gals has the same focus for their young women. Movement. Why is that so important? When we move, we exercise balance, coordination, and endurance. We discover our limits and tend to push our limits. Thus, it's an exercise in succeeding a challenge. Self-esteem is boosted when we succeed challenges. According to the CDC for healthy schools, the consequences of physical inactivity can lead to energy imbalance. Less energy through physical activity than consumed through diet. They give us a shocking statistics. Less than 1/4 of children ages 6 to 17 participate in 60 minutes of physical activity every day. Less than 1 ages 6 to 17. Adding to that, Habits.com reveals that tweens spend less time outside than prisoners. Less than 1 hour a day. The CDC also informs us that students who are physically active tend to have better grades, school attendance, cognitive memory, and on-task behaviors. Now I ask you, and I ask myself, can a child really receive any of the beneficial growth factors I have mentioned, endurance, self-esteem, strength building, and overcoming challenges through physical movement through a screen? Third crucial factor is adolescent development is emotional and social competence. SmartKids.com says social and emotional competence refers to the ability to interact with others, regulate emotions, solve problems, and communicate effectively. So, how does excess screen time affect social and emotional competency? I'll break it down. Practicing face-to-face interaction teaches us important lifelong skills. We experience facial expressions and eye contact, as well as tone of voice. In fact, says ACA Healthcare, those that better understand these cues tend to have better social success and stronger peer relationships. We learn these cues with experience throughout childhood and gradually integrate them into social interaction. With an enhanced emotional and social competence comes self-esteem, self-confidence, patience, persistence, empathy, conflict resolution, communication skills, and self-control, as well as a feeling of empowerment and a sense of being able to engage with the world. It has been my experience with adolescents at home, the more screen time he is allowed, the less interactive he is with us. He becomes withdrawn. He becomes short-tempered and agitated. He is completely engulfed and is bothered to be interrupted. When he is restricted from screen time, he engages with us more socially. His attention to detail level increases, and he's more inclined to engage in conversation with us. MarketWatch.com reports children who have spent the most time glued to a screen during adolescence proved most at high risk of developing emotional health problems. Those children are more likely to experience depression. Marjorie Hogan, a pediatrician, says, when babies are babies, they're learning about human interaction with face-to-face time and with speaking to parents and having things they say modeled back to them. That need doesn't go away. I asked a client of mine who is a teacher, How is it to be back in school after the summer break? She told me that she moved up a grade in teaching. She had the same kids in 7th grade as she did the year before in 6th. She said, I'm trying to rewire their brains to do menial functions like stand in a line. She referred to them as screen zombies. She had asked them of their summer activities. She said a large percentage spoke of new video games they got and how they had conquered their games, and of social media news. She said a small amount spoke of summer camp or any outdoor activities. She was shocked at the disconnect given the summer between the 2 school years. In Psychology Today, there's an article suggesting taking an electronic fast. They ask, why is an electronic fast so effective? They explain that fasting reverses much of the psychological damage of screen time. Interesting thought. Plain and simple. If we remove what is causing damage to productive growth, we begin to instill productive growth. Can it really be that simple? And if so, why aren't we taking this step? I chose this topic because I am in awe of a question I cannot answer. Why aren't we choosing what seems like a very simple solution for the betterment of our adolescents? I chose this age group because I recognize these years to be some of our most trying and difficult age in life. A time when we as parents need to be hyper-focused on all aspects of adolescent life. Dictionary.com defines adolescence as the transitional period between childhood and adulthood in human development. Also the process or state of growing to maturity and development as of a society proceeding to maturity. I asked an adolescent today, if you were allowed to access screen time, how do you think this would affect you in a negative way? Her response was this. Well, I know that I see things on social media that upset me. There would just be more of that if I was allowed more time on my screen. If we aren't already perceptive enough to see the signs of too much screen time in our kids' functioning, isn't it time to pay attention? I persuade you to take a deeper, thoughtful approach to considering how screen time affects your child, and specifically your adolescent. If we limited screen time, encouraged healthy sleep, physical activity, and face-to-face interaction, I believe we would not only see a change in our kids and home life, but also the ripples of their well-being extended into their bright future.
All right. Princesses of Wales and Queens of New England, I need you to wave to the camera, everybody. There we are.